Headed out for some deep water yellow perch and crappie. Probably bass, probably bluegill as well, but yellow perch and crappie are the targets. Very deep lake. Last year around this time, I caught them in 60 feet, pretty much on the bottom, which I feel like that's unusually deep for crappies. I've never caught them much deeper than maybe 30 or 40. So yeah, looking forward to getting after them. Hopefully we'll connect on some. We'll see. So here we are out on the lake. I was having a hard time connecting with these fish. I couldn't find them. It was almost seeming like the lake was void of life. I found a couple single fish out suspended in pretty much the middle of the lake. They were down maybe 30 feet in 60 feet of water, and I caught a couple of them, but they were literally by themselves, crappie swimming around by themselves. Forward sonar is just that insane that we are able to pluck a single fish out of the middle of the lake like that. But we kept moving around, and eventually we found where the fish were all wintering, and it seemed like almost every fish in the lake was there at that point in time. It got pretty fun. Okay, gonna catch one of those. So I caught that one, and I think I maybe caught a couple others. These fish were suspended really high in the water column. You can see right now on the screen. They were really big schools of fish, at least 75 fish, but they were swimming around pretty fast, which made them tough to target, and they were being pretty finicky. I got a jerkbait out to play with them and actually caught one of them right here, but basically there were just a lot of groups of fish roaming around in this general area. I'm not really sure why, but this is where they were. Chad, I got one on a jerkbait. Do what? The school starts at 5 foot. Oh my goodness. Honestly, there's so many that I'm just enjoying using different baits and watching how they react to it. Got him. Yeah, they are really shallow. I mean, the school goes from like 25 all the way up to... That was 25. But there's more than one school. It's not just one school. So these fish were being surprisingly finicky considering how many there were, and crappies usually cooperate, especially when they're in large schools. I ended up changing to a little tungsten ice fishing jig, and I tipped it with the tail end of a little shad style straight tail crappie jig, one that probably everybody's familiar with, but it was a really tiny bait, and I actually started getting some bites with it. Dad, I'm going to put these in that cooler, and this is probably all I'm going to keep. I have quite the reputation as a fish killer. I keep a lot of fish.
But I've started to kind of lay off on that, especially in the freshwater side of things, simply because I like eating them fresh, but I don't need to go and stock my freezer full of crappie because they would be going in next to cobia, grouper, black sea bass, mahi, yellowfin, sheephead, triggerfish. So there's just not really a reason for me to do much beyond keep what I want to eat fresh and keep some to give away to friends.
It's just really hard for me to ignore all the crappies.
You hear me make that comment about all the crappies. We started to kind of shift our focus towards trying to get a yellow perch, and it's just very hard to ignore all those crappies, but that's what we had to do to try to get some.
Uh-oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. This feels different. Feels different. Probably because it's a bluegill. Yep. It's a big bluegill though. That might be what's on the bottom right here, because I'm only in 25 now. It's funny saying only 25. Oh, I think these are big bluegills. I don't know what I have. This is large. Oh, please don't come off. Yeah. Oh, that's big. Mm-hmm. On the bottom though.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a, man, that's a pretty fish. So there's my jig. Here he comes. There's a bunch of them. I'm just looking at him now. Oh, he came off. Holy cow. This is insane.
So the schools of fish gradually started to move in shallower up onto a pretty expansive flat, and they started biting really well too. Earlier in the day they were finicky, and they completely changed their mood. It got pretty fun.
I've definitely never seen anything quite like this. Are you marking them? Yeah. I mean, like, I can see them on my electronics, but there's so many that I can't pick my bait out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's plenty. So I don't know where my jig is. Let it hit the bottom and work up. Not these. Turn it to your left and just look.
One's up high, Mike.
I mean, there's just so many that I haven't really been able to. I can't even like see my jig or anything. I just throw out there and start reeling. Yep, one already had it on the way down. I'll try the jerk bait again. Got one on the jerk bait. Oh. Big one. That's a perch, Dad. It's a big perch. Oh, I got something on the jerk bait. I got a crappie.
Oh, we tripled.
What do you got, Todd?
He got a big perch.
Are you using minnow?
No, it was off the Bob Garland.
Was it on the bottom?
Yeah, I was just 7 feet.
It does not matter where you cast. I don't need crappie jigs, I guess. This is a pretty expensive crappie jig.
I'm not seeing much in front of me right now.
That's great.
They definitely like it. I'm catching some pretty nice ones too.
My camera really doesn't do it justice. These fish look pretty small, but I want to say the average fish this day was about 10 or 11 inches for us, and we had a few over 12 and maybe one or two 13 inches. Nothing huge, but some really nice fish.
All right. How many do you have in your kayak? I think we may have I think my dad and we only need 4. I think we got plenty over there. Ooh, I got another one. I'll be over there in a minute.
That's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Kind of a different style video. I put the camera on my head and forgot it was there for the most part. Really enjoyed this day. Had a great time out there with my dad and my uncle catching a bunch of crappies and yellow perch. We usually do this about once or twice a year, and I thoroughly enjoy it every time.